Welcome back, everyone. Off the Handle podcast number 2. We got Casey, we got Bones, we got Vito, and we got what you need. So let's get right into it. How about that Super Bowl, boys? What you think?
Loved it. Loved every second of it because I fucking called every single thing, almost.
Oof.
Patty Mahomes going off, game-winning drive. Pressure doesn't mean anything to him, but Jimmy G really did crack under it, though.
I mean, dude, that game, it was an incredible game played by the Chiefs. I was nothing but impressed, especially in the second half. They really got after it. Patrick Mahomes' fourth quarter, unmatched, that guy. He's incredible. And you got to give it up to the rest of the team, too. Like, this was not a one-man show. The defense stepped up. They had 4 stops in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes had 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Well, he had 2 of them. Damian Williams. Kenny, what do you think about the game?
I'm absolutely sick. Sick.
Elaborate.
I'm just sick to my stomach. I usually will, take a loss. I'll admit when I'm wrong. But this was some absolute bullshit. And you know what? Again, fuck Vegas. It's ridiculous. Another game determined by the refs in the game throughout the season. In the playoffs, year after year after year. Now, I got to say, there was a lot of choking on the 49ers side, and we'll get into this with Kyle Shanahan because I believe that he should be absolutely fired. He shouldn't even have a head coaching job at high school. He should just retire from coaching.
Let's just, fuck it. Let's get into this now. We'll talk about Patty Mahomes next. Dude, I do not understand how you run the ball 19 times in the Super Bowl. Their past 2 games, guess how many times they ran the ball?
They were up most of the game, too.
Against the Vikings, they ran the ball 47 times. Against the Packers, 42 times. Attempts. They only ran the ball 19 times the whole game, and 3 of them were to Deebo Samuel.
Can I give you 2 stats that all you need to know about Kyle Shanahan in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, give them.
First off, Kyle Shanahan has been outscored 46-0. Yes, I repeat, 46-0 in the fourth quarter
of 2 Super Bowls
between the Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl and this Super Bowl. And after all the success that they've had running the football, all playoffs, all season, they ran the ball 5 times in the fourth quarter for 32 yards.
Dude, this makes me so mad.
How the fuck is that even possible?
Why?
Why do you go against what you've had success with?
You've had not just success.
Postseason?
You've had a lot of success. Like, you have been dominating teams on the line of scrimmage. George Kittle's out there yelling at yelling at Kyle Shanahan to run the football. He should have been doing that in the Super Bowl. I don't understand how you only run the ball 19 times when you're up for 3/4 of a game.
How do you blow it in the fourth quarter again?
Please, Dean, tell me
All right,
how that's even possible.
I don't think it's all on Kyle Shanahan. It's not. Because when Kyle
A lot of it
Shanahan
is.
needed
A lot
to
of it
put
is.
it in the hands of his quarterback, who he should trust, no? I mean, Jimmy G just didn't step up. I got the drives here. I mean, that pick before to start the second quarter from Jimmy G, a lot of pressure from Kansas City's line, though. That kind of forced that pick. But, I mean, that's one bad play from Jimmy G. I will say this, though. Kyle Shanahan fucked up so bad at the end of the second half. Or the first half.
Yeah, why
didn't
is
call
he not calling a timeout?
There's 59 seconds left,
Plenty
and they
of
got the
time.
ball at the 20-yard line.
That just shows how much non-faith he has in Jimmy
timeouts.
Garoppolo.
Hold
That's
on, though.
why.
Hold on.
He was just trying to get through the half without giving the Chiefs the ball back.
You
Yeah.
said 59 seconds to got the ball back at the 20, right?
Yeah, with 3 timeouts.
Yeah, but they had a
didn't
decent
even-
play.
No, they didn't even call a timeout after the play. There was another play that
Yeah,
they
they
could have
got
called a
to, like,
timeout
the-
with like a minute 48
They got to
or
like
something.
the 40, I think. Like their
So-
own 40.
But what I'm saying is they didn't even call a timeout to stop the clock at 140. They let that burn all the way down.
So this is what happened.
And then
Yeah.
ran the ball twice.
Makes no sense,
So
dude. It's just, like,
they ran the clock
terrible.
down to 20 seconds, and San Fran didn't even call a timeout. Kansas City called the first timeout because they thought they were going to get the ball back.
Yeah, they got a nice.
With 19
the
seconds
running
left.
back came out of the backfield
With 19 seconds
and
left,
hit it over the middle.
Jimmy Garoppolo passed short middle to Jay Wilson for 20 yards. Got to the San Fran 25 or 45. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
And then they called their first timeout with 14 seconds left.
It's like you wasted 40 seconds and then you would have been fine. Like, just trust your team.
And then, all right, I'll give you Ken like the one debatable call with the George
Oh,
Kittle
yeah.
pass interference.
That was
mean,
that was
dude,
bad.
that's
I mean,
just-
was it a
bad.
push off, just like Kyle Rudolph would have push off, but they didn't call that
You
again
can't-
in the
Yeah,
Saints
they
game.
don't call it against Travis Kelce. He had like the same kind of push off in the game
Listen,
too.
if Kittle catches that ball, they are most likely going to kick that field goal.
They're
and
getting
gonna
a
make
field
it.
goal,
So it
yeah.
is 13 to 10.
Or
Now-
scoring a touchdown because they would have
No.
had like 13 seconds.
No, they weren't going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, but they had like 2 plays to go for the end zone.
Take that the rest of the game.
They had a play.
Take the rest of the
Play.
game away. Besides that, just play. Whatever happens, happens. The 49ers on that last drive are going for a game-winning field goal instead of a game-winning touchdown. That's a huge.
Yeah, but
Still, I don't
but
trust
you
Jimmy
know,
G in that
no,
situation,
but you can't say that because everything would have been played differently by coaches with a
Facts.
different score. You can't just assume
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's such thing as the butterfly effect. So you can't just assume because
Just
you
'cause
got
one
points
play,
in one
everything else
area,
would've happened the same.
everything
There was
yeah,
more
wouldn't
than
have.
one play. Emmanuel Sanders got held.
No,
No,
you're
but
saying-
what we're saying
wrapped.
is if the Chiefs were coming out of the second half down 13-10 instead of tied 10-10, people would have been calling different games. Same with
Yeah,
Mike or
100%.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, but it's a
He would have been
huge
calling
difference in
different
the game. And
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we just touched
I'm not
on
denying that.
before, if you have Kyle Rudolph pushing off in the end zone for the game-winning touchdown, which was clear as day, if not even worse than Kittle's, but you're going to call a tic-tac foul on Kittle at the end of a half when it's the Super Bowl?
Oh, that was way
Come on,
worse than
dude.
Kittle's. That was way worse because it's
Who,
not
Rudolph's?
like Kittle
No,
didn't even
but-
have to push off. He still had the step on the guy, and he just
He
like
didn't
kind of
have
did
to.
it anyway.
Yeah, he didn't
so
have
it's
to.
like it was just stupid move by him, but like I still do agree it was a bad call.
Listen,
Yeah,
there
so
was
I'll agree that the refs
multiple
messed
calls
that
in
one
that
up.
game.
But I mean, these 2 drives were the biggest drives, and Jimmy G did not step up. To start the fourth quarter, they're up 10 at this point, San Fran, and I mean they drive down the field a little bit. They start at their own 20, they get to their own 39, and it's let's see, it's first down. They get the false start, so that doesn't help them. But I mean, Jimmy G just can't put a drive together after that. So they punt. Kansas City comes down, scores a touchdown. All the momentum's on Kansas City's side. This last drive where Jimmy G, it went to 4th and 5 at their own 25. They couldn't drive the ball. They didn't get a first down on that drive when they were up 3 at that point. I mean, they need to at least get a first down.
When was the moment in the
clock.
game where they kicked a field goal and it was like a 4th and 2
It
or
was the
4th
second
and 1?
half. It was
yeah,
the first
that-
drive of the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I just like I don't
was 4th and
understand. You're
2.
playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. You know that they're gonna come back. If you're tied, you're losing. Kind of like when Tyreek Hill's going deep. Like if
Yeah.
you're even, he's leaving.
And that was the
So,
game-changing play.
I just
that Tyreek Hill 3rd and 15
like you
bomb.
have to have the balls to go for a play like that. Like a field goal does not really help you there. Like sure, it's 3 points, but it
Listen,
didn't mean shit.
I'm not blaming it all on the refs. It's obviously not all the refs' fault.
No,
I
it's
think
No, I think it's Kyle Shannon's.
I
fault.
think there was
And
a lot,
Jimmy G.
There was a lot more calls.
Jimmy G needed to make plays, and he didn't.
There
he
was a-
shouldn't have had
no.
to make
Yeah.
that many plays. They
Yeah.
should have been running the football way
You're
more.
putting way too much on Jimmy
I'll say
G.
this one more time.
Way too much on
I'll say
Jimmy
this
G.
one more time. 19 rush attempts in the game for the 49ers, the best rushing offense in the NFL. Besides, I mean, if you're going to argue the Ravens or the Titans, I understand. But like it just doesn't make any sense. They had 46 rushes against the Vikings. They dominated the game. They had 42 rushes against the Packers. Dominated the game. Why do you stray from don't fix what ain't broken? I just really do not understand it.
It's because Kyle Shanahan resorted and went back and did the same exact thing that he did with Matt Ryan.
Maybe
You
because-
already
started-
made this mistake.
they started
Maybe
before.
because all the
throwing
naysayers, all
You
the
already
naysayers who
made
were
this
hating on Jimmy
mistake
G.
before.
Listen,
Everyone hating on Jimmy G. Maybe you wanted to prove them wrong.
You
and
are
he just
riding-
fucked up.
listen,
The Super Bowl is not the time to do that.
You are riding Jimmy G
But
way
like, why
too
wouldn't you
much.
run it then?
You're riding Jimmy G way too much in that game. Jimmy G, yes, he should have made that throw the last part of the game.
No, there was 2 drives that they were up 10. He fucked up. He couldn't put a
But
drive
it's the
together
play
to milk the
calling.
clock.
It's the play
and
calling.
then they were up 3. I mean, he couldn't get a first down.
But it's not
you,
him.
You
It's
got
play
3
calling.
shots. You're telling me any QB like if you step back to drop back a pass 3 times on 1 down, you can't get a first down.
It's the
I mean,
whole scheme, though, too. I'm not
yeah,
saying that
they
he
knew they
couldn't.
were gonna be
I'm not
throwing
saying
the
he
ball.
couldn't.
Like,
it's just the whole scheme of
he
it.
didn't
When you
step
only
up.
run the ball 19 times a game, they're not expecting you to run it. Like, what the fuck was that?
I don't
just
know.
don't understand.
It was just a total.
Just Jimmy G not clutch, and yes, Kyle
Raheem
Shanahan's play calls
Mostert-
doesn't help.
Raheem Mostert, we were talking last podcast, and we'll take the L on this because we said
He didn't even start the game.
about his rushing yards, but it's still bullshit. He should have had way more carries. He only had 12 carries.
Yeah.
This guy should be fed the ball. He should have had at least 20 carries, Tevin Coleman should add at least 5 or 6.
Tevin Coleman
Debo
got
Samuel,
his.
you could still give him 3. That's fine. And like Matt Breida should have got a few too. Like have at least 30 rushes. You had 19 when you were the best rushing offense in the NFL. I really don't.
I don't
understand
have
it.
much more else to say. I don't.
But-
I don't know. I don't know. Kyle Shanahan.
Let's give
delivered.
credit where it's due.
I mean, Patty Mahomes, man, he stepped the
Yeah.
fuck up whenever he needed to play. When the team needed to play, he was there to
And
make a
hey,
play.
I mean, 3 quarters, he did not look like the Patrick Mahomes that we thought he was going to be. But all of that just went out the window in the 4th. He played a hell of a game, made the big plays when
stepping
he
up
had
in
to.
big time plays. This play playing right now, 2nd and 19, where he ran the ball for, what was it, 15 yards up the middle.
Yeah.
Huge play.
Dude,
Still down 10. And
So-
then
so
then he
is
threw
he the best
pick.
quarterback we've ever seen? Because we talked about this last podcast, and we were saying like if he wins the Super Bowl, then we can have this discussion again. So what do you guys think now? Your minds change at all?
I think right now, is he the best? Yes. Is he the
I don't
best?
think that's debatable.
Is he the best? Yes, I agree. All right. That's fair.
I mean,
Is he the best we've ever seen, though? Like, that's.
talent-wise.
You can't put that into perspective
Maybe.
yet again.
This
we,
guy.
Yeah.
we had this conversation last week, though. It's the same situation.
No,
Yes,
but he's got
No,
a
it's
super.
different.
Yeah, it's different.
He
It's
won the
definitely
Super Bowl.
different.
It's different now.
100%
I'm going to say this
different.
again. You still think that right now he is better than Tom Brady was in his prime?
Well,
Talent-wise,
I'm saying
skill-wise.
if you look at both of their careers right here, so you got Patrick Mahomes has played 51 games as a starting quarterback. He's 24-7, or not 51 games, but he's 24-7 as a starting quarterback. 66% passing the ball, 9,400 plus yards, 76 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. Tom Brady in his first 2 years, 6,600 yards, 46 touchdowns, 26 interceptions, no Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, 2 AFC championship appearances, and he won a Super Bowl.
yeah.
What else can you
And an
ask this guy
MVP.
to do to say that he's the best quarterback you've seen play? Like, I really don't understand.
Listen, to say all right, that's like it's a
You guys
stretch
are-
because there's so many great quarterbacks. But I will agree
the
that he's the
moment.
best right now, and he had the best start to a career than anyone else.
Yeah, I was looking at even Aaron Rodgers, his first 2 years when he started, 8,400 yards, 58 touchdowns, 20 picks.
Yeah,
And Patrick Mahomes, he's got 1,000 more yards at least, and 20 more touchdowns. Like
Alright,
it's
so,
like
yeah,
this guy is just and obviously he has weapons. He has Andy Reid. He's got a whole system around him. I understand that, but just watching the guy play, like we said this last time, he's like a Rodgers 2.0. He's like new and advanced Aaron Rodgers, like can move even more,
Yeah.
can make even more incredible throws. Like I think that he is the best quarterback we've ever seen, and for sure he's gonna win more Super Bowls.
Yeah, I'm not taking that away
And
from
more
him.
MVPs.
He's going to win a lot more. He's going to win a lot more Super Bowls, and he's going to be the best quarterback ever. You can definitely say that he's up there with the best we've ever seen. He's proven it.
So wait, you just said you think he will be the best quarterback ever?
He will be, yes. I still am holding to what I said last week. Even though he won this Super Bowl and MVP, I still don't think he matches Brady's credentials. I don't think he's at his level yet. I think he's
but do you
pretty
agree
damn
that
close.
he got off to the best career start ever?
It's not even.
It's not
Agree-
arguable.
It's not arguable.
Yeah,
It's
like he
facts.
did.
That's not even a
He
question.
is.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I just have some stats here. I just want to bang out real quick. He's one of 8 QBs to throw for 5,000 yards. No one has done it more than once, besides Drew Brees. He's done it 5 times because he's the GOAT. Most touchdown passes through first 3 career games with 10 and first 8 career games with 22. Youngest quarterback to throw for 6 touchdowns in a game. Most consecutive road games with 3+ touchdown passes, 7, which is kind of ridiculous. First player to throw for over 3,000 yards in first 10 games.
He's just breaking records all over the place.
Most consecutive 300+ passing games. That's most consecutive. He's tied with someone at 8. And then he's the fastest to 7,500 career passing
Listen,
yards.
what
you
do you-
guys can keep saying all the stats all you want, and stats don't lie. I get it. But there's a lot more that you got to take into consideration than him just making AFC championship games and him just winning one Super Bowl and winning MVP. You
So
got to
you
look.
think it's because of the system mostly?
No, I'm not saying mostly. I'm saying that it definitely has a part of the system. He is a very, very extremely talented quarterback, one that we've probably never seen at this caliber. I mean, Lamar Jackson's up there with him, like we said, but
For
he's,
different reasons.
Yeah, but he's a different
Yeah.
breed, though. But I'm just saying, there's a lot more that goes into the factors of Mahomes being the way he is right now and the start he's had. I think he's going to be the best ever, and he's going to have he might have, honestly, the best career a quarterback's ever had. I'm not disagreeing with that. And this year he had 76 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, which is ridiculous.
No. This year he had
Yeah, not
26
77.
touchdowns.
Oh,
5
sorry.
interceptions.
That's his career.
Yeah,
that's his career.
Yeah.
He's a 2-time Pro Bowl. Made the Pro Bowl twice. All Pro once. Super Bowl champ, as you saw. MVP of the league, and 2018 Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, those stats.
It's just like-
you could keep going with it. I'm not disagreeing with you guys in anything, but again, you can't put him on the level of Tom Brady and that caliber yet. You just can't. He
All
is
right.
so close, but you just cannot do it yet.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to say it's not just about the stats with him. It's like when you watch a Kansas City game, you are watching mostly because of Patrick Mahomes. Like, he is electric. The plays that he makes, and I said this last time, the jump pass against the Titans, like, I couldn't even believe what I was watching. His run against the Titans in the playoffs, like, I literally
the
felt
throws
like
he
I had a
made in the
loss of
Super Bowl.
words. I was like, this guy is just
He's
incredible.
the Steph Curry of the NFL. That's what he is.
Let me ask you guys something.
Nah, he's gonna be the Michael Jordan of the NFL.
Ooh.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
guys something. So when he gets his fat contract, probably he's going to max out the quarterback in any contract in the league, which he
Yeah, they're saying 40
completely
mil a year.
If he
deserves.
doesn't max out the quarterback, the quarterback contract, that's bullshit.
They're
He
saying
will.
40 mil a year.
Yeah, he's gonna set the market
Yeah.
with the next whatever it is.
He will. But when he gets that fat contract and you still have Kelsey on the team, you still have Hill on the team, and you still have a bunch of other role players that have given him the success that he has, and you can't pay all of them to stay on the team, and you lose some of them, is he going to still be as successful
Yeah,
as
he'll
he
make
is right
he'll
now?
make everyone
Yeah, but
around him
with those,
better.
with
Okay,
most guys, he still has 3-4 years. Like,
okay.
he could win 3.
So what happened with Tom Brady when he lost his pieces? He was good
They're
2 years
different
ago.
players.
He
though.
still won Super Bowls.
But he lost all of his players. And look,
Tom Brady is the ultimate game manager. Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate playmaker.
do you understand
It's
that?
completely
Do
different.
you understand that Tyreek Hill just has to run a seam route down the middle of the field and nobody can stop him, and Mahomes has to throw it up? Has to be perfect throw, and he does make great throws. But Tyreek Hill is going to get under the ball and go past anybody. It's
Well, it's not just Tyreek Hill. It's Hardman too,
Yeah.
and
That's my point.
Sammy
He has
Watkins.
so many weapons where it's so easy for him just to feed players because there's so many mismatches on the defense.
But you're still
you saw
seeing
it
the
against
plays
the
that he
49ers
makes.
defense.
Like, it's not just the weapon. You could tell. Like, obviously, it's a huge contract. That's why they won the Super Bowl. But you could still win MVP and not win the Super Bowl, and you don't need to have weapons all over you.
I'm just saying
No.
he's had one of the best offenses you've ever seen in sports. And
no,
excuse me,
I
in the
mean,
NFL.
not really. I mean, there were
A lot
talks.
of
There
it
were
is
talks in the
because of
beginning
him.
of the season that Kansas City didn't have enough.
Well, talks.
What
talk.
about
What do
yeah?
you
But you're
mean?
not even bringing what about when Alex Smith was their quarterback 3 years ago? Like, they didn't they lost in the first playoff game to the Titans. They still had Travis Kelsey. They still had Tyreek Hill.
And a better running
So
back.
yeah, better running back too.
I
Or
don't
no,
know.
Kareem
He's
Hunt
playing
came-
devil's advocate, which
Kareem
is
Hunt
fine. I get
came the year after. But you get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like
I just think you guys
they
have.
weren't good without Patrick Mahomes, and now they're winning Super Bowls and go to 2 straight AFC championships, and they should have won last year too.
I don't
that
know.
game.
It's just disrespectful that you guys are putting it at the same level as Tom Brady, though, who's the GOAT. I'm not disagreeing with you guys in
He'll get there.
everything else. Yes, he will get there. Can we at least agree that he's not there yet?
It's close, very close.
He is the best quarterback I've ever seen. I will say right now.
All right, moving on here. Let's start getting into the money a little bit because we all want to know how we did during Super Bowl Sunday.
All right.
Let's get into the prop bets a little bit. Ken, you want to start with you?
Yeah, I went 0 for 4. I lost every single bet that I had. I'm honestly done with this podcast and talking about the Super Bowl, but I'm going to continue it for you guys. Literally lost everything. 49ers choked. Kyle Shanahan should be fired, in my opinion. I've just
Fired.
This is the second Super Bowl that he's been up with the best defense in the NFL and can't win again. 40. I said it earlier.
No, you
40
hit one bet. The
He
coin
got-
toss.
Yeah, the coin.
Kid, I thought it was because of Vegas. I thought the whole
I'm
issue-
getting there. Let me get there.
All right.
46-0 in the fourth quarter is just absurd. I've never seen a stat that there is no stat like that in any sport of that caliber.
That is the definition of choking.
Yes,
like to the
choking.
max. Like
To the
that is how
max.
you choke. Fourth
Yeah.
quarter, you haven't scored a point in the Super Bowl. and you were in 2 of them. and
That's
you
bad. That's
outscored
bad.
46-0. Oh,
Chesney, what about your bets? How did you do?
I did decent, and I didn't like say all these bets because we did this podcast a couple days before the Super Bowl but like the day of I put in more bets. But I did say this one, the Niners first half plus .5. That shit
Yeah.
cashed out. And that was nice for 150. That's a dub. I live bet the Chiefs second half money line. Dub. DeForest Buckner I had for the first sack. Do you guys remember how mad I was about this?
Yeah.
It was just
You got a
stupid
half.
as
It was a half sack.
Oh my God! So I don't know if anybody saw this, but DeForest Buckner had the first sack. It was I think it was like the start of the second quarter, but he was literally bringing down Patrick Mahomes, and then some other dude. I don't even know who it
comes
was. It
running
was like
in.
a backup, and he comes in and just like gets a piece of him at the very end, and they give him a half sack. So for 50, I only won 200 instead of winning 750.
That would have been
fucking
nice.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Still, take the 2 hundo.
Me and John both had that, and we were like, "What the hell is this? What do you mean?" Like we split that. It was like a clear sack. And then my last one, I had the over on Mostert yards, and that was an L.
Yeah, same
But
with
dude,
me.
that
yeah,
just
that's,
goes back to fucking Kyle Shanahan.
that should have been
Run
easy
the
money.
football.
That should have been easy money.
He had like 50 yards on 12 carries. Like, why don't you just keep handing them the ball?
And
I don't know why.
touchdown.
I don't know why he didn't start the game.
Doesn't make sense to me.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
had
Tevin
Coleman
Coleman's
running the
good,
ball a lot.
but
Yeah,
he only had like 6 carries though.
he had like over like 35 yards though.
He didn't even play the game before, and Mostert popped off.
He was hurt.
You? Why
He
would
got
you?
hurt the game before.
And Mostert popped off. Why would you even start Coleman
Yeah, I don't know.
in the Super Bowl? Once again, Kyle Shanahan should be fired. Fired
just-
immediately.
He didn't even call 20 running plays when you were up for 3/4 of the game. It just doesn't make sense. Like there's no logistics behind that.
And I just want to say another thing. I don't know what happened to Demi Lovato. She can't even go over 2 minutes after all this
That was the
fucking
thing.
nonsense.
After her performance that she
just ridiculous.
that she
man.
practiced it,
She
like
rushed through it. She just rushed
she
through it.
practiced. Well, she practiced it, and then everyone took the under after that, because it got leaked. Like it was under 2 minutes.
Well, it got taken off everything.
Yeah,
Literally hours before, you couldn't even find it anywhere.
yeah.
Scrambling to try to find Demi Lovato. Never
Wasn't
thought
there.
I'd see the day.
Yeah, that wasn't a good bet.
None of my
Looking
bets
back
were-
on it.
Nothing was good that day.
But yeah, I mean, I did nice, obviously, because I had the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of cashed out with that. Prop bets, I was let's see, 1 unit above in my prop bets, so kind of like 50-50 a little bit. Had the coin toss, first turnover.
Oh yeah, we all
49ers.
had tails. We all had tails.
We all hit on that. I think
Yeah, we
everyone
all
did.
hit on that.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Tails never
nice.
fails, boys.
sometimes it does. 50-50.
Nah, nah. It's not 50. It's got to be at least 90-10.
I'll take that.
At
All right.
least 90-10. Tails every time. Check the Super Bowl stats of heads or tails. Tails
It's
every
actually
time.
heads. Heads is more.
That's bullshit.
Tails have been hot though the past like 4 or 5 Super
It,
Bowls.
hey, it evens out now, so keep taking tails next
Not
year.
50-50, 90-10.
But yeah, first turnover, 49ers. Jimmy G under, cash money, 239. The Mozart killed me. Thought that was an easy lock. Pushed on the Mahomes over 2 passing touchdowns. Lost in the 2.5 passing touchdowns. And then Chiefs money line loaded up on them. Had a good Sunday.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I
Good
want,
shit. Good
I-
shit, Vito.
I want to
Good bets, good
apologize.
bets.
I want to
Bang 'em.
apologize to everybody that took my bets if you did. But listen to me. I will be coming back strong, better than ever. Again, I am Mr. Vegas. I will figure it out. Fuck Vegas. Let's move off this
Fuck
topic. please.
Vegas.
Wait, Kenny, one last thing, though. I did in last podcast. I said I'd sit here and say what?
I don't know what you said.
That
you were
you're
gonna
wrong.
say.
I
Faggot.
told you so. Told you
Pussy.
so. Fuck you, Kenny. All right,
Dude,
nice.
I'm so happy the Chiefs won, though. Honestly, like, that's why I only wanted to take Niners first half because, like, I still wanted the Chiefs to win the game. I thought it was going to be more convincing first half, but I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's why you buy the half
The
point
half.
for minus
Big.
125.
It's big.
Bam.
Next
All right.
topic, Dean.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with the NFL here. I mean, NFL awards got handed out before the Super Bowl. So let's talk about them a little bit. Maybe some snubs. Maybe some people, maybe who won it that
All
we
right,
think
I have a
shouldn't.
perfect question to start this off for you guys. Did people forget about fucking Lamar Jackson? Like, I just don't understand. Like, nobody says a word about him anymore. And, like, everyone's like, Patrick Mahomes is the clear best quarterback in the NFL. I think he is. But, like, did everyone just forget about Lamar Jackson
Well, I mean,
because he
there's
didn't
so
win in the
many
playoffs?
great other quarterbacks like
But what
Deshaun
he
Watson,
did,
Lamar.
he had 3,000 plus passing yards, 1,000 plus rushing yards. He had 36 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns. This guy was like, he had a 113 passer rating through the whole season.
The whole season, yeah.
Like, what he did was incredible, and I feel like we just have to at least touch on it because give the man his due.
Well, he got what he
He's a
deserved.
monster.
beast.
He got what he deserved. He won the MVP of the league. He was by far the best quarterback this year in the league. Did he?
Obviously, people are gonna hype up Mahomes now because he won the Super Bowl, but I mean, yeah, you can still make the topic of Mahomes versus Lamar, who's better.
I think we were talking about like who's the biggest threat to the Chiefs. Like I think it is the Ravens because they're in the AFC. They got a young squad, most of them at least. They still got their veterans, and they just went 14-2, and nobody can stop Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. Like just because Derrick Henry goes in there and runs for 195 yards, doesn't mean they're a bad team. Like
No.
you just can't stop. Nobody could stop him at one point. You know the Chiefs did a good job, but like I just think you got to give the guy credit. Like he was clearly the MVP. He did something we've never witnessed before in our lives.
Yeah, and if Tennessee doesn't upset Baltimore, I mean, you
That
have
would have been awesome.
Lamar Jackson
would've
versus
AFC Championship
Patrick
game, too.
Mahomes. You got
Would have loved to see that.
two of the best quarterbacks in the league going at it.
Oh, Lamar Jackson, he's hearing all of this. All he hears is Patrick Mahomes on the TV, and he's fucking working. I can guarantee you he's in the gym every day, and he's like, are they kidding me? Do you see what I did this whole season?
coming
And
back
you're
with
just not
vengeance.
even going to talk about me at all? Like,
Yeah.
I think he is the rival. If there's going to be a rival to Patrick Mahomes, at least in the AFC, I think it's him. Because like
And
most other
Watson, I love Watson. When they
Deshaun
play,
Watson,
yeah,
yeah.
when they play Houston, those games.
quarterback wise, those would be the three.
Are great. Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? Him and Mahomes have basically, they're like two different styles at the quarterback position.
Like yeah, very
Lamar
different.
Jackson's in the pistol running basically a triple option or speed option, and he just can't be tackled. He's doing B buttons on the Xbox controller to real players on the field.
It was the Bengals.
He's just so.
It doesn't
fast,
matter. It's
too.
still an NFL player.
Oh, dude,
He's so much
I
faster.
just
than
remember
everyone.
watching that real time, and I was like, dude, this is just fucking bullshit.
My jaw dropped. I was like, "There's no way that he just did that."
Did you see before that play? He told the coach, he's like, no, he told John Harbaugh, we're scoring on this play. Coach was like, all right, go ahead.
Well, he asked him that.
And then he went and he scored, and he comes back to the sideline. He's like, I told you, coach, I told you.
He asked him that multiple times throughout the year. I remember it was
yeah,
against
yeah,
Seattle.
but
I'm
he did on
pretty
that
sure.
play. They were on like the 50 though, and the coach was like, really? All right, go ahead. He's like, that'd be great.
Lamar Jackson is going to take that team to the AFC Championship next year, without a doubt in my mind. I don't know if it's going to
Gotta.
be. It probably will be the Chiefs again.
I think it'll be Kansas City
but
again.
I really do want to see that. I really, really want to see
Would
that
love
matchup.
to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone agree. MVP, obviously Lamar.
Yeah, hands down.
No debate there.
Hands down.
Yeah, you got to give it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody like you could talk about Michael Thomas, or we're gonna get into that. Though,
He got a few votes. Michael
mean,
Thomas
yeah,
and Christian McCaffrey.
Let's just bring him up now. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't know what else you can do as a wide receiver to deserve the MVP. But Michael Thomas did whatever he could. I guess they
just
just don't
sucks.
give out MVPs to wide receivers.
It just sucks that Lamar had this year such a great year now when Michael Thomas just popped
I
off.
think it's really good that they gave him Offensive Player of the Year, though, because at least he got something.
well
Like,
deserved. Yeah.
last year, Patrick Mahomes won MVP, but he also won Offensive Player of the Year. So it's like, why wouldn't you not give it to Lamar Jackson? But it's because you had a guy like Michael Thomas who had 1,725 yards, 9 touchdowns, 149 receptions, 108 yards per game. This guy was
Ridiculous.
unstoppable.
I'm just going to play
Unstoppable.
devil's advocate because everybody's got to do that eventually.
Yeah, go ahead. What you got?
I'm just torn because I don't know if he should have got it or if McCaffrey should have got it, because McCaffrey had an absolute hell of a year for a running back. I mean, if he doesn't have that type of the year with Carolina, they might win 2 games all year. But he
So what,
had.
they win 5 games?
But dude,
What's the
I think that
difference?
has something to do with it.
It
though.
does. It has everything to do with it. The record, Saints went
What?
13-3, Carolina went 5-11.
oh stop, dude! You're gonna compare the Saints to the Panthers as a team?
That's a big consideration
Dude,
in these votes.
They
yeah.
didn't even have a quarterback this year. The Panthers.
It's still a big consideration. And CMC, he finished third in rushing yards and third in rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
but
season he had.
He had 1,000 plus
was
passing or
ridiculous.
Yeah.
receiving yards too.
Yeah, he had.
Third player in NFL history to ever do that.
Yeah, it was
So, I
it was
mean-
just like ridiculous stats that he had too. I'm not taking away from Michael Thomas. I'm just saying that McCaffrey got really overlooked because the Saints were obviously really good, better. We're going to the playoffs, and Michael Thomas was doing what he was doing all year. But I mean, just like how Lamar, you guys are saying, got overlooked from Mahomes throughout the year. I think that McCaffrey got overlooked by Michael Thomas also.
What about Derrick Henry too? Because
What?
Derrick Henry ended up winning the rushing title, so it's like most people were like,
And he had the most rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he-
Tied
Derrick-
with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, but
Derrick Henry had 1,540 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. He had 18 receptions for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns too. But
But like aside from the record-breaking year that Michael Thomas had, like I think a big reason he won it, obviously because the Saints' record was so good, but they didn't have Breeze for 5 games. They had Teddy Bridgewater throwing the ball, who everyone doubted, and I mean some games Teddy didn't even play well, but Michael Thomas did, and they
Yeah.
find a way to win games, and
yeah,
that's what
people
really
can't just say it was only Drew Brees. Like he literally did the same exact thing.
same thing.
With
It
Teddy
doesn't even
Bridgewater in
matter
the
what
game.
quarterback was throwing to.
But
him.
you could argue it's a system, which I would understand. Sean Payton he has a good system.
Yeah,
So
Teddy Bridgewater isn't a scrub either. He's gonna get a fat contract this year by some team.
yeah, we're gonna do a whole episode on QB contracts coming up in the future because there's a bunch to talk about that.
a lot
But
of free agencies. Yep.
just real quick, what do you guys think about the Cowboys not paying Dak?
I think it's smart.
I think it's smart too. I mean, he wants
I
so much
think
money.
it's the biggest bullshit ever, dude. That like, are you fucking kidding
think
me?
he should be
You're gonna
paid?
pay everybody else on your team, but you're not gonna pay your quarterback, your franchise quarterback. Who else are they gonna sign that is even gonna be relevant?
I don't know. They could probably draft someone
Who else?
too.
I wouldn't want to lock Dak
You
in.
already have a guy that shows his leadership, that runs the locker room.
Yeah, but he wants
Everyone
so
loves
much
him.
money, though. He
Everyone
wants so
loves
much.
him. He had technically the best ranked offense in the NFL this year, like for yards per game. But I just don't understand why you don't pay him. Like you're really gonna do this? Like he's
'Cause
not
he wants
gonna go
be
to
like top 5
Yeah,
and
he's not top 5 in the league. He shouldn't even
with
be close
money,
to that.
Yeah,
yeah.
but neither is Carson Wentz. Neither is Jared Goff. And they fucking got paid. And I'm not saying you should only do it based off that, but like Dak Prescott I think is better than both of them.
Yeah.
Especially with like he has like a real leadership like quality that most quarterbacks don't have. Like people want to follow that guy. And like he can get better. Like I don't understand why you aren't paying him. And you're just going to franchise tag like it just is the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard.
I don't know.
They'll figure it
Jerry
out.
Jones had a microscope on him all year.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, dude. Pay your fucking quarterback. That's the main guy you should pay.
I wouldn't want Dak as a franchise
it doesn't.
quarterback for
Dak
what, 5
is gonna
years?
get paid next year, regardless. Like, you think they're really gonna take a shot with some random dude?
If he doesn't go and bring him to the playoffs and produce, yeah.
No, dude.
Yes.
They're gonna pay him next year if they don't pay him this year.
Did you see
And
what-
it's gonna even be more money because it goes up every year.
What did the Cowboys do this year that was so impressive? They were 1-6 against teams that had a winning record. They beat.
They also had one of the worst coaches that I think has ever existed in Jason Garrett. Trash.
He wasn't calling the plays.
Now who
though.
has him?
He wasn't calling the plays.
Now who
though.
has him?
The Giants did.
Yeah, Boise State quarterback
Congrats.
was calling the fucking plays.
Yeah, Kellen Moore.
Dude, yeah, but they still had a great offense. It was just like they couldn't finish. They couldn't score at the end. But I don't know. I think it's a lot to do with play calling, and I think it's a lot to do with just Jerry Jones being a fucking asshole. Dude, we can move on from this, but I just had to say it, dude. I don't understand why you don't pay your franchise guy. Like, you might say you wouldn't want him as a franchise quarterback, but who else are you going to get?
They'll
Like
figure
Tom
something
Brady
out.
for a year? No, fuck that.
They'll figure something out.
Cam Newton? I'd rather have Dak Prescott.
Cam's gonna resign.
Ryan Tannehill? Too bad. He's taken.
Nah.
Cam should
Yeah,
resign.
he's taken.
Cam should.
You could have
resign with the
Marcus
Panthers.
Mariota if you want.
Mariota's trash.
Like, who else are you going to fucking get? You don't have a top pick. Like, I don't understand why you're not paying your quarterback. All right, just move on, Dean. I'll keep
Defensive
getting
player of the
heated about
year,
this.
Stephon Gilmore, deserved or not deserved?
I think he did deserve it. I mean,
He had
the
a great year.
The stretch they had and what he was doing, when they were on that stretch, basically 10 games
In the
into
beginning of
year.
the season,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
mean, he
mean-
was locking down every stud receiver. They weren't even looking his way. I mean, he had 6 picks on the year, which was tied with White. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 pick sixes, and he had about 120 yards, given up against him. But I think that he deserved it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's no one else really behind him
I wouldn't
that
give it.
I would have gave it to.
The only way that I mean, like I said, Richard Sherman. I said on last show, or last
It's
podcast,
trash.
was definitely a top cornerback. But now after seeing in the Super Bowl, I would definitely put
Not
White
even a
above
week
him.
ago he was.
I would definitely put White above him now. So maybe White, but I mean, I still think Gilmore deserved it.
Let me just say, Stephon Gilmore scored more touchdowns than he let up this year.
He let up 0.
He let up 0. He scored 2.
Yeah.
This guy 100% deserved this award.
Yeah, there's
He
no
was-
one else behind him that.
Nobody even looked his way. Like you said, he let up, 120 yards all season?
Which was
Is
actually
that right?
Well, I mean, that's what I
It's
found.
because
but
nobody even looks at him. Like during the games, they barely throw his direction. Like he's that guy. He was Darrell Revis in his prime. Like you know what I mean? Like
He locked
you're
everyone
on an
up.
island with him, and you're not getting off.
No.
Dude, this guy, like the only other quarterback or cornerback to win this award was Deion Sanders. The only other true cornerback. There was also Charles Woodson, but he was like a safety cornerback hybrid.
Yeah.
Charles Woodson won in 2009. Deion Sanders 1994. The only other cornerback to win.
That's impressive.
This guy is legit. And obviously Tre'Davious White had a great year. The only other guy besides them that I could have considered giving it to was TJ Watt.
and,
He
and Chandler Jones.
He had 14 and a half sacks, 55 tackles, 8 forced fumbles. Like TJ Watt was a monster too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chandler
so-
Jones led the league in sacks.
But when you have
he had a
someone like
great year.
Stephon Gilmore, like the stats don't even do it justice because
No.
they are not throwing him they're not even throwing to his side of the field.
And that's pretty crazy that a CB hasn't won it in that long.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Just the
It's
fact
crazy.
that like we're talking about Gilmore like well deserving this and no one really being close is pretty crazy.
The only other true cornerback on that list is Deion Sanders. Like,
nuts.
yeah, he
The
fucking
GOAT.
deserved it.
Well deserved.
true goat. Yeah,
All right,
100%.
Next.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, Kyle Murray. This one's definitely debatable. So I mean, let's hop in it. Chesney, what do you think? Because I know your boy got maybe snubbed.
Listen, I don't think that A.J. Brown got snubbed,
He had a great year. Great year.
but
He didn't deserve it though.
I don't think anyone deserved it this year. There was no standout rookie
There
on
wasn't.
offense. Kyler Murray, like, yeah, he was all right.
He
Like
didn't-
he
He was below average in every single category.
he had 3,700 passing yards, which is good. 20 touchdowns, 12 picks,
12 picks.
87 passer rating.
below average in
Dak
everything.
Prescott was the last quarterback to win it. In 2016, he had 3,700 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and only 4 picks. The difference between them, though, the Cardinals went 5-10-1, and Dak Prescott with the Cowboys went 13-3.
You also got to
So that makes sense why you give it to Dak.
Yeah.
When you go 5-10, I understand that the team is trash. I get that, but like it's not even like he was winning games like at the end. Like he had a couple big drives. I think it was like
Game-winning
two
drives.
game-winning
yeah.
drives.
Yep.
But he did. I don't like nobody really stood out to me to win this award. So I get it. They give it to the quarterback, but still, you want to say something because I got a lot more to say.
I mean, I just don't think there was many other people that were even in the discussion. I mean, A.J.
Yeah.
Brown, in my opinion, I told you to cash out on that. You're welcome. He didn't have enough on the year.
Probably
I
could
mean,
have got more though if he waited.
Yeah.
he had like 3, 4 maybe 4 big games in that stretch at the end of the year where he was scoring a touchdown a game and was making big catches. But the only other guy, in my opinion, that was probably could have had a really good shot if he didn't get hurt was Josh Jacobs. I mean, he had 7 touchdowns. He averaged about 5 yards a carry, had a little over 1,100 yards rushing, and he got hurt. And the Raiders had a better record than the Cardinals did. But you know how it is. It's just like the Super Bowl. I forgot to mention this earlier. The league is driven around quarterbacks. That's how it is. Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, not to go backtracking on this again, but he had 2 touchdowns he had, Dean? You said Mahomes? 2 touchdowns, right?
Passing,
Passing.
and he had a rushing
Yeah,
touchdown.
so 3 touchdowns total, 2 picks. Yeah, you think that you would give it to him because nobody else really is going to stand out, but Damian Williams had over 100 yards rushing. He had a receiving touchdown, and he had a rushing touchdown. It's the first time that an NFL running back has ever done that. I think ever in a playoff game.
So you're just
I don't
making,
even know if it's a
you're
Super
just
Bowl or
making the
that.
comparison to say why people always look at quarterbacks
Exactly.
more. Yeah.
Murray had a subpar year, like we just said, but I mean, I think Jacobs was leading it for a while.
Well, yeah, if Jacobs didn't get hurt,
If he didn't get hurt,
He
I
was the
really-
favorite for
Yeah.
almost the whole
If
year.
he doesn't get
Yeah.
hurt, I think that not only does he win it, but the Raiders might have slipped into the playoffs. I mean, they were only a game or two out, and they lost a few games that they definitely could have won at the end of the year. I
Yeah.
don't know how many games they were.
I mean,
technically
maybe the
out, but-
Titans would have got it, but
But,
still,
dude-
they would have had a better. They probably would have overtaken
And you
the
had to say,
Steelers at the end of the
Jacobs
year.
was definitely in the top 10 running back this year, 100%. 100%, without a doubt. So
Let me just make this comparison because this is why I'm saying nobody really deserved this year. Like the last running back to win the award was Saquon Barkley in 2019. He had 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, but he also had 700 receiving yards and four receiving touchdowns. Like
Yeah,
Josh
that's a
Jacobs,
great
like
year.
you said, had like over 1,100 rushing yards. He had less than 200 receiving yards.
But dude, he didn't
He
play.
had 7 total touchdowns.
He didn't play for like 4 games.
I know, but
Yeah,
still,
I
like, just like
understand.
the level of play wasn't there for someone to make a
And I'll
unanimous decision.
I'll even make this argument for AJ Brown because like I love the kid. He only had 52 receptions, but he had over 1,000 yards, 20 plus yards per reception, which is
yeah,
that's
big
a lot.
plays.
That's a big
yeah.
play kind of guy, and 8 touchdowns. The last receiver to win it was Odell in 2014, and he had 91 receptions for 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. So it's like nobody even compares to like the past guys that are
Yeah,
even close.
No, but
So you got to give
I
it to
see
the
what- I
quarterback.
see
And Alvin Kamara was the other guy.
I
and
see
he
what
had
you're
just
doing,
around
though.
the same as
like
Saquon
1,000
Barkley.
receiving, 1,000 rushing.
I see what you're doing though. I get where you're going with this. You're comparing this year's awards to the past, which yeah, you should because they should all be on the same level, same caliber. But
At least close, but
Close.
like these aren't even close.
you got to look into.
It's sad.
But you just said it before. You got to look into this year, the players of this year, and the stats that this year is providing. You can't compare a running back this year and say, oh, he should have had Saquon's stats from 2019. So if he has those stats, he gets it.
The only
this
reason
year,
I do that,
but
like, just
this
hear
year,
me out.
everybody's different.
Hear
You
me
know
out.
what I
The
mean?
only reason I do that is because, like, how are you supposed to compare a quarterback to a running back? You really can't.
By
Like, there's
stats
no,
and by record.
Yeah, but the stats don't even out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way to compare a quarterback's passing yards to a running back's rushing yards and to say which guy should win the MVP or the Rookie of the Year. So that's why I'm just bringing up like past ones to like
Yeah,
try to
100%.
get an idea of where these levels should be around, but none of them are even close to the past guys. That's the only point I'm making.
Yeah, 100%. And then, I mean, this last guy, I think it's pretty unanimous. Like, we could do it really quick. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Nick Bosa. I mean, I
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
like no one
Monster.
was even close in the
No.
votings.
No, and they shouldn't
14,
have been.
Like, I
14
couldn't even
total
name,
sacks,
Yeah,
4 in the playoffs. He had 62 total tackles, 15 in the playoffs in 3 games. He had 13 QB pressures in the Super Bowl alone. Think about that. 13 QB pressures in the Super Bowl. This
He's a
guy was
beast.
everywhere on the field. I don't know if you guys saw him. He was everywhere on the field.
Nah, I
but
missed.
that
I,
Mahomes
monster.
magic,
nah,
though.
missed the
I
whole
missed him,
thing.
bro. I missed him.
Kenny
everywhere.
left right after the first half.
But I mean, it was unanimous.
The
Like,
only
there's no
the
way.
only 2 guys that were close, I just want to give them credit because they had a hell of a seasons. Devin Bush for the Steelers, 109 tackles. He had a sack and 2 picks, but 109 tackles, that's a lot for a rookie. He took the place for Ryan Shazier and did a hell of a job. So I got to give him credit. But against Nick Bosa, you're not going to win that. And also Josh Allen had a hell of a year too.
Yeah.
44 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. It's a good year too. So besides
Pretty
those guys,
unanimous, though.
yeah, it was unanimous. I agree.
All right. So let's switch gears a little bit. Switch it up to the NBA. Because there is a lot of talk about. We'll keep it kind of shorter though.
Yeah, we got all season to talk about the NBA.
And we got a lot of time with the All Star game coming up too.
Yeah,
So we'll dive
for
into
sure.
that in the next podcast or so.
We'll
But-
dabble. We'll dabble right now.
But right now, I want to
Fair
talk
enough.
about.
My boy Devin Booker getting snubbed, but we'll say that for another day.
And
Yeah, that's
fucking,
kinda bullshit.
fucking Jimmy
But-
Butler, bro. That just
So many
pisses me
snubs,
off.
dude.
Bradley Beal, but continue.
I mean, Zion, man, he's having a standout year already. He's played 9 games. So let's talk about him a little bit. Like, can he win that Rookie of the Year, even though he missed almost half of the season? Chesney?
Honestly, no. He cannot win Rookie of the Year. You can't go off half a season and give a guy the award when someone like Ja Morant has been playing good relatively the whole season. And I'm only saying, like, as long as Ja Morant doesn't just blow it or get hurt, then I think it has to go to him. He's averaging 17 points a game, 50% from the field, 3.5 rebounds, seven assists. I mean, this guy, like, he's making big plays. I want to get into the thing about Andre Iguodala a little bit, but what do you think first on Zion? Can he win Rookie of the Year?
I agree with you. I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. You got to play a full season. You have to. I mean,
At least most of it.
John Moran has shown
He's
that.
playing most of it if he plays the rest of the season.
I guess.
Yeah, but you gotta really have a full year. I mean, he is averaging about 19 points per game, 8 rebounds. He is almost averaging a double-double. The crazy thing about him that blows my absolute mind is that he comes into the NBA, he's hurt, and then he comes into these NBA games, and I forget what the stat was, but he's rebounding his own shots almost like 70% of the time. Every time he misses a shot, he's getting his offensive rebound.
Yeah.
He's just
And
way more athletic
his second
than
jump
anybody on
stronger.
the field.
His
It doesn't
second
stronger,
jump
too.
is ridiculous. But one thing that worries about me about Zion, though, long term in the NBA, is his health. I think that he has to cut down a little bit on weight. He's just a little bit too big. I mean, his knees are just going to be a problem in the NBA. You've seen it with other players before that have been, not that he's overweight. I mean, he's a big dude. He's a really big dude. But I'm just worried about his health.
What does he weigh? Like 245?
No, it's like 280.
He's almost,
Really?
Yeah, dude. He's big.
God.
He's big.
He's got to cut some weight, no doubt.
But I think you got to give it to Ja. I mean, he's having a crazy year this year. The highlights that you see on all over the internet is just ridiculous. He's playing good basketball with the Grizzlies, who are actually competing now for the first time in a very long time. So
They got a young core.
yeah, they got a young core. I think Zion will obviously be in the conversation for the year, but I think it goes to Ja.
See, I kind of disagree with you guys a little bit. I think he very well could win this award. Just because, A,
I mean, if
he's going to play
going
most
off
of the
for
year.
30 points a game and 10
He's playing
rebounds,
most of the
then
year.
yeah, but
And right now he's on restricted minutes. He's only getting 27 minutes per game.
I think he had like 30 his last game.
I mean, he's averaging 27 a game. So, I mean, you bump that up to
Oh, no,
another
yeah, it's
10
been
more minutes.
It's been going up every game, though.
All right, but you start averaging that out, the number's going to go up too. So, I mean, why couldn't he, if he's more consistent with those numbers and they're increasing, why couldn't he win it?
Well, how many games has he played? 8?
9?
I mean,
8?
I thought he only played 7.
It's close. It's around
It's
8.
around there.
I mean, there's only 82 games in a year for the regular season, and teams have basically had 40 games before he came back. That's half the year. I just don't see how you can give somebody an MVP
Unless
or,
it's really just like clearly better than anyone else, then yeah.
But
I
he's
get
not
it.
right now.
If he starts
Ja-
averaging 39 and like 5, then yeah, you give it to him. For sure.
39. All right.
No,
relax.
39
okay.
and 5.
John Morant,
I was going to say.
John Morant has to get hurt or completely blow it the rest of the year for him to lose it, in my opinion.
All right,
Yeah,
but see, I
yeah,
think
I
about it
agree.
like this too. Like, what if Zion just makes that push with the Pelicans, takes them to the playoffs, and then Grizzlies fall off and they don't make a playoffs?
I do
That's another
think
point
that the
right there
Pelicans
that
can make
is
the
a
playoffs.
is a very well possibility for the Pelicans to make the playoffs, and like you got to take that into consideration when you're voting.
You do, but you saw it last year. I mean, it's just you can't take the MVP of the league, or excuse me, offensive rookie of the year. You can't. You just base it off the regular season. You don't base it off the postseason and stuff. You know.
No, that's
100%
not
correct.
accurate at all. Definitely, it takes into your
Why do
the-
you think
the contribution?
Why
to
do you
your
think
team.
James Harden got bounced last year? A good part of it, because he didn't go far in the playoffs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So you're saying that?
Harden had a better season. What you're saying? Why Harden didn't win MVP last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, because exactly because Giannis went farther and he carried.
No,
his
but they're
team
not.
more.
They're
It's
not
taken
supposed to. They're not supposed to bring that
I know,
into
but
account.
he's saying that they take it into account
They
in the
do,
playoffs, but
though.
they don't.
They do.
As much.
No,
they
no,
shouldn't.
not really. No,
It's really
Yeah,
it's
they
really
really
the regular
don't.
season.
They really don't. A little bit, but like not really.
Mm.
It's like Kawhi Leonard should have won MVP last year. Then, if you're
mean-
gonna argue that, he should have won MVP.
No, because Giannis's numbers were just better.
yeah, but he destroyed him in the Eastern Conference Finals. So like, why would you not give it to Kawhi then? They obviously
Because
don't.
Giannis is
They do not
They
bring
do.
it
They
into
factor
account
it
in the
in.
playoffs. No,
Yeah,
It's
they
not
do.
much,
No,
dude.
it's not.
It's
They
really
do.
not much.
I don't think they do at all.
they
No,
shouldn't.
they do.
They don't, and they might a little bit, but
The
it's not
MVP
even
is a
close to
regular
that, dude.
season award, and
Yes.
everyone knows that.
And-
that's why it's a shitty award.
Yeah, everybody knows that the MVP of the league every damn year is LeBron James. He could win it.
Yeah,
every
that's why it's a
single
terrible
year. It's
award,
a terrible
too.
award. It is. I
It's
agree with you on
awful.
that. It's an awful
James
award.
Harden should never win that if he can't win a fucking championship.
Dude, James Harden will never win an NBA championship ever.
But he will win
Ever.
an MVP.
Ever. He will win MVP, yes, but he's not going to win it again this year, which is crazy.
No.
Which is crazy. His scoring is ridiculous. That's another thing. James Harden is not an MVP because you want to know why? He doesn't play defense. He doesn't rebound.
And
He's
he
very
doesn't
good at
make people
he's
on his
good at
team better.
assisting. Yes, exactly. He doesn't make his team better. He is the best scorer in
Let's
the
get
NBA
into it.
by
MVP
a
race.
long shot. MVP race. We'll just keep going with it. It's Giannis. It's Giannis again. And the reason why it's Giannis, I had the stats last week. I don't know where they went, but Giannis is having better stats this year than he did last year. And if you're gonna go
Dean,
off,
find stats on Giannis.
yeah, find stats on Giannis. And if you're gonna go off last year or people in the past, like how you did with NFL awards, I mean, Giannis is having better stats than he did last year, and he won MVP last year. How do you not give it to that guy again when he's having a better season?
Well, yeah, but it does depend on what other guys are doing, and,
And-
I acknowledge that with the
And-
NFL awards
And one
too,
thing,
but
and since you guys have been saying before about record, look at the Bucks record compared to the Rockets record.
oh yeah, for sure.
So
That's
if you
huge.
want to put that into consideration too, this is not even close. It's gonna be.
I mean,
Giannis.
I agree
It's
with
I
you.
gonna
totally
be
agree.
I
I,
agree
think
with you
I think
too.
right now it's Giannis.
Yeah.
Like there's no
But if
question
you
about
asked
it.
me,
I mean,
if
you have some
asked
people
me
that
who
say
the
Harden
best-
should get it.
So he's
and should have got it,
averaging
but-
he's averaging 30 points, 30.1, 13.2 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and he's shooting 55% from the field.
and his 3-point
Yeah.
percentage is up this year.
Nobody's beating
31. That's not bad for him.
Last year was like 23 or
Yeah.
something like that,
Nobody's
which is a big
beating that.
improvement. No,
No, like he's
No.
definitely in like should win it right now.
I agree.
I mean, who do you think is in second place then? I mean, you can think about Luca.
Yeah,
He's
but-
missed some time now, but it's got to be Harden.
It's
but
Harden.
Yeah, but
he's
with
averaging
Harden, like
35.
I was talking to
Yeah,
you,
it's
Dean,
Harden.
about this the other. Like we were just talking about it over the phone. Like the fact that he had that slip up, like where Harden like played like shit for that 3-game stretch or whatever it was, and then he was
Like
out
dog
for a game.
shit.
Did you see on Instagram what there was a thing? It was like Harden's numbers looks like Drake's tour dates. 1 of 17. He was like 3 of 10.
Terrible.
Dude,
He had like a 5-game stretch where he was just awful.
I don't care if it was only 4 games, 5 games. You cannot give the guy the MVP if he's doing shit like that.
You don't see-
are obviously not making people around you better. You're just taking shots because you want to shoot the basketball.
You don't see
I
that out of
mean,
The
Giannis.
football.
Yeah, shoot
You
the
don't-
football.
You don't see that out of Giannis.
Yeah, so right now
No, he's a
Harden's
team player
Harden's
and-
stats 30 averaging 35.8, 6.5
Like, yeah,
rebounds,
that looks
7.3
all
assists,
great, but
43% field goal, 36% field goal from 3.
I'm telling you, all Harden.
It's right now it's Giannis.
especially because Luka got hurt too. Like
Yeah.
now, I think it's like clearly Giannis is in the heavy lead. I haven't looked up the odds, but I'm sure it's
all Harden will ever win in his career in the NBA is a scoring title. That's it.
And
or
maybe
MVP.
another MVP, yeah.
Maybe.
But that's really about it.
But that's it.
That team will never win a championship, just
No.
the way that he plays.
And Russell Westbrook is just a cancer.
Harden would need KD on his team to win a championship.
Right now, Luca, like in every category besides points per game, which he isn't too far away, he's averaging 28.8, is better than Harden. So he's averaging 28.8, 9.5 rebounds, 8.7 assists, 46% field goal, 32% field goal from 30.
See, I think Luka's in second place in this conversation.
It's
I
just,
don't think Harden.
I mean, no, just because he missed a lot of
Personally,
games. He missed a lot of
like,
games.
I get it why people would say Harden, like, but I don't feel it. Like he's just not that guy that
I
makes
feel
people
ya.
around him better. So why are you gonna say he's the MVP? He's not as valuable as people think.
That's true.
Like, yeah, he's good for 35 points a game, but what's he averaging assists? Like 6?
7.
That's trash.
You know,
Point
Good.
guard.
It's good.
you know, Luka's 20.
What?
He's 20 years old,
Yeah, it's awesome.
and he didn't even play in college.
4 years younger than
He
me.
played overseas.
It's a beast.
He's a monster. Bro.
It's
I
just-
love watching him play.
It's just crazy that you see in sports now how these young athletes are taking over. I mean, I don't want to go off topic here, but look at what Juan Soto did in the playoffs last year in his whole year. I mean, that guy, he had his first beer. Actually, he didn't even have his first beer at the World Series.
He got
He
yelled
wasn't.
at.
He was
He couldn't,
20. He
yeah. He
couldn't
got
even
yelled
drink.
at.
He couldn't even drink in the locker room, dude. I mean, he was a huge piece
Well,
of
it's
that
just
team.
this new wave of
Young
It's just like the
athletes.
new wave of athletes. That's what it is. That's coming into the league, and they're
It's because all these young athletes are training harder. They're in the gym earlier. They're just more
they
athletic.
have the
It
time and
seems like.
resources now too.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Yeah, 100%.
Before we get to the trade deadline shit, I just want to like talk. Do you guys think that the Pelicans can make the playoffs? Like
100%.
realistically,
I mean, yeah.
Like-
Who else is fighting for that 8 seed?
Dude,
Memphis.
dude, listen to their roster. Like they have Brandon Ingram, who's averaging 25, 6, and 4.
All
Lonzo Ball averaging 12, 6, and 7. Drew Holiday averaging 25 and 6. Derek Favors averaging a double-double every game, 10-10. Josh Hart, JJ Redick. They got people all over the
They got
floor,
the
bro. They got a
pieces, man.
bench. They got everything. Like I didn't even mention Zion.
I don't
And we're talking about. I would just said every other guy, and like
I
you
don't
got
see
Zion
why they
Williamson.
can't. Why they can't make at least the 8 seed. I mean, then you got to go up
They're
against.
5 games back right now, which is the people in front of them. They got the Blazers, they got the Spurs, and they got the Grizzlies, who are holding the 8 spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love the Grizzlies too. Like they got Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Dylan
Yeah,
Brooks,
Brooks is
Valanciunas.
nice.
Like they got a solid squad too. But
The difference, I think, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I think the West is a better conference than the East.
I mean, I think
So-
everyone knows that.
Well, yeah.
But that plays into a factor. I mean, you're in the West Coast, you obviously play the West Coast teams.
Yeah, but do
You're
you
gonna
think they
play-
could beat out the Blazers, the Spurs, and the Grizzlies?
I do,
That's what it comes
but
down
you
to.
also-
Because I think
think
we
so.
look. The next teams are like the Thunder, and
Who are
And
good.
Dallas.
Yeah, and
But
Dallas,
who-
and they're
yeah,
like
they're
10
like 10
games.
games out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you got to play the Clippers, you got to play the Lakers, you got to play the Mavericks, you got to play.
I'm
gotta have
asking
some
if they
big
can
wins.
make the
No,
playoffs.
But so
But
do,
I'm
so do the other
saying-
teams. Now it's all even. I mean, they
It's
just
all
gotta
even,
win.
but the West, it's hard. I mean, I think they have a shot. Yeah, you can't say they don't. I mean,
So
they,
right-
they just
right
added
now-
a huge piece to their team again. But
Right now, they're Ray Kyle, we looked at it yesterday. Plus 250 to make the playoffs. I think that's fucking great value. I might throw 100 on that.
Yeah, I
mean,
think they're plus 260 to make the playoffs.
like I think they make it. I don't see why they don't. They got a young squad, but I mean,
Dude, they got ballers all over their floor. They're like 7th guys, JJ Redick, who's
Yeah.
averaging 15 a game.
I think that next year,
It's like their 7th guy.
I think next year they're going to be really good next year.
Yeah, they got the pieces. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
they're
they got
young
the
this
pieces.
year. They're young. They're trying to figure out how to play with each other. But come time next year, if they do have the same roster, they're going to be nice. They're young and they're talented.
100%.
So, who out of those 3 teams would you take? Who's going to make the playoffs? Pelicans, Spurs, Grizzlies, Blazers. 4 teams.
Who would I want to see or who do I think?
Who do you think?
I think it's probably I think it's between the Spurs and probably the Pelicans. Pelicans are probably the most talented overall, but Greg Popovich.
I mean, I could easily see the Blazers
Dean.
getting the last playoff spot, though.
Dean, check from me. When's the last time that Greg Popovich didn't make the playoffs? They made it last year, right?
Honestly, not sure.
You can't count him out, is what I'm saying. He's a great coach. He
Yeah,
knows
but-
how to. I'm not saying they're gonna
I don't
win.
know if he
in
made it
playoffs.
last year.
They had a bad year last year, didn't they?
Yeah, but either way, like I just think, regardless of about this, I think the Pelicans definitely have the talent to do it to make the playoffs this year. But I don't think that they're gonna bond enough together and be able to work together enough to be able to win enough games to beat out someone like the Blazers or the Grizzlies, who have been, at least they've been playing together all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Zion just came in, and like you're throwing in like a top guy on a team where Brandon Ingram was the number 1 option, and like he still kind of is, so it's like a little awkward. So I think they just have to learn how to play together. And I agree with you. Next year, I think they're going to be good.
Without
That
a doubt.
front office has been making incredible moves. Like
Yeah, so right
I
now-
cannot believe that. Just real quick, I cannot believe that they got rid of Anthony Davis, and already they're like a contender to make the playoff. Like, you know what I mean? Like they got rid of their only guy. It seemed like last year.
They got lucky with the lottery, pick with
I mean,
Zion.
yeah,
Like that,
but-
they had like a 1 in like 17 shot of getting that first pick.
Still though.
Getting rid of AD though was the right move.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean,
it
they
turned
made the
out so good
playoffs.
for
The
them.
Spurs can, Like they made the playoffs last year, so right now they made the playoffs every year since 1997, 1998.
That's what
Wow.
I'm saying. You got to take into consideration Greg Popovich. He just knows how to win games.
All good things come to an end, though.
You've seen it. It's happening with the Patriots, but I don't know. It'll be close to see
It
at the end
will.
of the year.
Yeah, that should come down to the last few games, the Western Conference.
Plenty of
Did-
basketball left.
Did you guys look into this trade at all? What happened?
Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty wild for the 4-team trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's dive into that a little bit.
I just want to start off. I mean, I think that the Rockets are going to make another move because how do you get rid of Clint Capella? Who's your center?
They don't have a center.
to.
They want to play. Their center is PJ Tucker now.
I know, but you can't have
That's
that.
the
You
thing.
can't
Mike
play that.
D'Antoni wants to play small,
He wants
but
to play small
can't,
ball.
dude.
you can't.
I don't know if you guys saw the game. It was on Sunday. It was Pelicans versus the Rockets. It was before the Super Bowl. They had PJ Tucker and Eric Gordon guarding Zion, and he was just eating in the post. He was just legitimately backing him down to the elbow.
First
and
off,
just
I don't know what
hook shot. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know
with
what they're
that.
doing either. I mean,
They have to be
trade-
getting a center. They have to be getting somebody else or trying to. They have to. You can't go a
I
year
don't
without
think
a
they
center.
are, dude. They only have like a day
man.
left.
But
they
like-
have like 20 hours left from the time this podcast is being shot.
But they
yeah,
gotta have.
Thursday at 3 p.m. Tomorrow at 3
They
p.m.
have to
Yeah.
have an idea. You can't go a year without a center. It's just that you
100%
can't.
right. They have to sign
that's what they're
someone.
gonna
They have
do,
to.
I don't know what they're doing.
I
But-
think that's what they're
But
doing.
like, just think about what they gave up and what they got in return. Ready? So, what did Houston give up? They gave up Capella. The guy's only 25 too. Like, he's got a lot of career left.
He's
a good
He's a
player.
good player.
Great
He's
player.
Great. He's
Great
one
player.
of the better centers.
And
in
they
the league.
gave up Nene, their backup center.
He's a little
who's
old though. He's a
Good,
little
good
older
role
center.
player though, coming off the bench,
Yeah, for
giving you
sure.
good minutes, good defense. And they gave up Gerald Green. He was hurt too, a little bit older, but he got that veteran presence. I guess that's another big piece. So they gave up those three,
and a
and they-
2020 first.
and they gave up a first rounder. And this is what they got in return. Covington. I mean, he's not bad. He's not a bad player. He's average. But and Jordan Bell, who's almost irrelevant.
That's
So
why.
they gave all that up for Covington.
Yeah, but Covington's a premier defender. Like, he's a good ass defender, and he can hit the three ball at least. Like,
I mean, I guess that's what Mike D'Antoni
I think most of it was
too.
about they were over
But
the
why?
tax threshold, and they got below. Now they got like $6 million to play with. So at least they got some money now.
I guess they need to make
They
a
were
move and
over.
sign a center though.
But you
Yeah.
can't go and play in the NBA without a center. Imagine the Rockets going up against the Lakers. AD will put up 70.
Well, right now, Houston's like if the
Yeah,
playoffs
like,
would happen
who's
right
gonna
now.
guard Anthony Davis? And
Not even Anthony
I didn't
Davis.
mean
They're going
that,
up.
dude.
They're going up against Utah
What-
right now. Who's going to guard Rudy?
What happens when you
Yeah,
what happens
you're
when
right.
you
Who's
play
gonna guard him?
What happens when you play the Thunder and you're going up against Steven Adams?
They're going to get smoked.
They have to be doing something. There's no way that they go the rest of the
Not
year.
unless
with
Mike
this, with
D'Antoni's
this
just that
roster.
dumb, which he might be. I mean, if you give up that much for Covington,
It doesn't make sense to me. But
No.
that goes to my point again. Harden will never win a championship. It's just he's in a terrible system over there.
yeah.
It's terrible.
And Mike D'Antoni's just feeding into it because he's just feeding into what Harden wants to do, and that's just for him to dribble around all day
Yeah.
and have the 3-point shooters for him to either kick off to or just spread everyone out
I mean,
and
how
have
many,
him drive the lane.
how many players have to go on the team? They had Chris Paul. They have Russell Westbrook now. What they're getting Covington, who is just a role player. Like, I mean, you're not making pieces for a team that's going to make a push in the West, especially. It's just not
No.
going to happen.
Yeah.
And right now,
I
their
feel
only
that.
center is Tyson Chandler, who's 37 years old.
He doesn't even play.
And they got one more guy. I couldn't even tell you who the fuck this guy is. 21 years old. Couldn't even tell you his name. So
Yeah, I think the Rockets
hopefully they make. Hopefully they make.
are
more
making a
moves.
mistake. I think Mike D'Antoni, I'll say it right here, right now, I think that they will never win anything when he is the head coach. I think just his play style, like the way he just thinks that you could just give ISOs every possession
Ridiculous.
to
Not gonna win
James Harden
games.
or Russell Westbrook. That's not how you win games. It's not, especially not how you win championships. I don't think he's the coach. I mean, you have pieces in Houston, like, and he's just not performing with them. Like, you can't play against a team like last year. Who'd they play? Who'd they lose to last year? The Warriors.
Yeah, pretty
I
sure.
think so.
But like, you can't play
Yeah,
a
it was
team.
the Warriors last
You
year.
can't play a team like that when you're not passing the ball. Like, they're just gonna double team James Harden and make other people hit shots, and that's what happens every playoffs. That's why James Harden sucks in the playoffs, because he gets double teamed and they have no clue what the fuck to do.
Well, Russell Westbrook, I just don't think is just an answer to anything. I mean, I'm not taking away that he's a complete athlete. He averaged triple doubles out the ass last year, but he's
Yeah,
not
but-
a piece that
and
you
he's
need.
not the right person to be
Yeah,
on
they
the
went
team
four
with James
four and
Harden.
2 and lost against
He's like the
Golden
wrong.
State.
He's like the wrong person to be on the team with James Harden.
Yeah,
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like he's just like 100 miles per hour, just like fucking puts his head
And Harden's
down
dribbling
and goes.
over here,
And James Harden does it. Yeah,
slows it
it's just-
down.
I don't know, man. I don't think
They
the
will
Rockets
never
will
win
ever
anything.
win with Mike D'Antoni. I think that they can make adjust if they get a new coach. I think the coach can make adjustments, and they have plenty of talent to win. Maybe not, but they have a lot of talent. So I think they need a better coach, and I think it's over for D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
All right, so
we're not gonna go deeper into this trade because it's all just
Yeah,
like
it's
fucking.
just I
role
don't I don't think
players,
anything
yeah.
was really
But-
spectacular.
But one thing I saw, well, besides, did you hear about Andre Iguodala
yeah,
on the Heat, boy?
I know.
It's a great fit.
Before. Great
That's
fit.
I like that.
awesome, dude. The Heat are gonna be, like that is a big pickup for them because they
Yeah.
were like that kind of team. Like they got a lot of young guys. Like they got Jimmy Butler, who's like their clutch player and shit. They got Adebayo, but now they got that vet who knows how to fucking win championships.
Yeah,
That's like what they needed.
I
Now
think it's a great
I see
fit.
the Heat like.
they could
I
definitely
think
fuck
they
around.
could
and-
give. I think they could even give the Bucks a run for their money.
I mean, I thought originally like the Celtics could give a Bucks like a run for the money, but,
But
now
now
you throw
it's
the
looking
Heat in
like the
there
Heat.
too.
Now it's
Philly,
looking like the Heat.
I don't know if they're completely
Dude,
there
I
yet.
think Philly can't win a game on the road
No.
to save their lives.
Yeah, they're just.
I think
it's like
Embiid
sad.
Embiid wants out. Embiid definitely wants out.
we'll
He
see
was
what
talking to
happens
Jimmy
with that.
Butler the other day after the Heat game. They had a long conversation on the sideline after the game. And you know how that goes, man. Players covering their mouths, jerseys covering their mouths, talking for 30, 45 seconds after a game.
Yeah, we'll see
Philly-
what happens.
Philly's-
but
Philly's
Philly, I
not
don't think they'll
winning
ever
the
win the
deal
big
either.
game,
No,
and
not with that
it
squad.
was kind of heartbreaking last year for Kawhi to hit that shot, but that was crazy. But
Yeah, but it was crazy.
yeah,
Oh,
they fought him well, but that's just Kawhi being a fucking goat.
so all in all, we're gonna be getting more into the NBA in the upcoming weeks, boys. Hope you guys like it. Off the Handle podcast number 2. We're
Part
just
2.
getting started, so
Oh yeah,
I hope you guys tune in with Bones, Vito, and Casey.
Tune in next
Yours
week.
truly.
yeah, we'll get some picks for you.
We
too.
love you guys.
Peace.
Bam, bam.
Peace.